Now we're going to talk about some ways that you can divide and just estimate the answer. So again, it's all about this word right here. I do this on every time on every estimation video. We're not trying to get the exact answer. We're just trying to estimate. And the point is make the math as easy as possible. If you have to bust out a calculator or a piece of paper and start doing long division, then there's no point estimating. The point is to get a very quick estimate, usually one that you can do in your head. So compatible numbers and rounding, that's absolutely the way to go here. If I want to take 3,102 and divide it by 5, I could do long division if I wanted the exact answer. But I'm just trying to get a quick estimate. You know that numbers that end in 0 and 5 are divisible by 5. So I could call that 3,100 and try to divide it, but you know what? I don't think I can do that in my head. I think it would be hard to divide 3,100 in my head. You know what would be easier? 3,000. And guess what's pretty close to 3,100? 3,000. So I just rounded to the nearest 1,000. Call it 3,000. I know 5 goes into 36 times, and then you just add 2 more zeros. So we're going to take this, and we're going to round to an easy, what I call an easy number, or a compatible number. And so then we get 3,102 divided by 5 is approximately 600. Close enough. And I didn't have to get a calculator or do any crazy math. Just round to make it easy. I wouldn't round that to 3,200. I wouldn't round it to 3,150. I would round it to whatever makes life easy. So 3,000. That's the simplest way to do it. So let's try estimating. See, it doesn't say come up with the exact answer. It says estimate. And it would help if you would show me like how you came up with your answers. So it says the Smiths pay $7,100 a year for their son's tuition. Approximately how much would their monthly payment be? Well, we know that there's 12 months in a year, and it just says approximately how much. I don't care how much it is exactly. I just want to know a ballpark. So the first thing is you have to figure out what problem are you trying to solve. And this would be a division problem because it would be taking the 7,100 and dividing by 12. And I know my dozens, right? Like 12, 24, 36, 48. 71 is not like divisible by 12. So I want to make the math easy. So I want to round off the 7,100 and I want to round off the 12 to something that just is a little bit easier. So one way you could do it is you could go to 7,200. You could call it 7,200 because 72 is a multiple of 12. And 12 goes into 72 6 times, and there's some zeros. So their monthly payment would be approximately, see this says approximately $600 a month. That's one way to do it. But maybe you didn't realize that 72 was a multiple of 12. Maybe you didn't realize that. I guess you could have also said 7,100 divided by 12 is approximately 7,000 divided by 10. You could round both numbers, right? I mean, 7,000 is pretty close to 7,100, and 10 is easier to divide by than 12. So, but that would give you $700 a month. Both are perfectly fine answers. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. As long as I can tell how you got your answer, that's what's important. So 600 would be great. That would probably be a better estimate, actually. 700 is a little high, but they both work. Again, the idea is round, make the numbers easy to divide. Peter just bought a new van. He wants to see what kind of mileage he gets. He filled up the tank with 24 gallons of gas after driving 489 miles. Estimate miles per gallon. Miles per gallon. The word per generally means that you're going to be dividing. We're going to take the number of miles divided by the number of gallons. So if I take miles per gallon, like that, and I say it's 489 miles, 24 gallons, I can't divide that without using long division or a calculator or both, right? That That is way too messy. I want some zeros on some ends or some fives or something. So again, try to find numbers that would be compatible. Actually, I'm going to say approximately. This is where I'm going to do my rounding. I could call that 500. I could call that 20. I could call that 25. Oh, you know what? If you double 24, you get 48. So I could call that 480 divided by 24. That would be a pretty good estimate. 24 goes into 48 twice. So 20 miles per gallon. That would be a really good estimate. 20 miles per gallon. So about 480 divided by 24. I'm just picking numbers that are nice. Now, let's say you didn't see that those would work, right? Maybe you didn't think of that. You could also do this. Let's see. 489 divided by 24. You could think of it as 500 divided by 25. That would work, right? 24 is pretty close to 25. 489 is pretty close to 500. And there's 4 25s in each 100. So that would also give you 20 miles per gallon. Gives you the same answer, you just come up with it in a little different way. You could also do this. You could call this 500, and you could round 24 to 20. That would also work. 500 divided by 20, there's a little trick you can do. If you have zeros, you can ignore those zeros. So 50 divided by 2 would be 25. 25 miles per gallon is also not a bad estimate. And again, I don't care which estimate you come up with, as long as I can kind of tell how you came up with that estimate. Like, I need to know what your thought process was and how you rounded to come up with your answer. But there are usually a lot of answers that will work. Sometimes in the homework, it will tell you how to round, and so that will make everybody's answers a little more consistent. But in the real world, if you just need a quick estimate, you just try to pick numbers that are pretty easy. If you need an exact value, you bust out a calculator. I mean, that's the truth in the real world. But a lot of the stuff you'll be working with as elementary or middle school teachers, the numbers will be nicer.